All right. It's Jared here from Crypto Plan. How is everybody? We are 3 days into the new year, and things are looking very, very exciting over there on the chart. If we look to the right of the screen, we can see we're on the total crypto market cap chart on TradingView on the daily chart, and we can see that it is steadily going up, and it is starting to look a little bit parabolic. But what I'm most excited about is the altcoin total chart, as in the total market cap, excluding BTC, is jumped 11% today. And you can see down there, Ethereum's done 21% today. Bitcoin's still strong, but I think it's kind of battling against a correction. I've said that before. Yes, it's super bullish, but I still believe it's due for a solid correction. And that's what today's video is about. Just having a look into the longer term charts and seeing how to predict corrections in the particular coins that you're purchasing. So I'm going to look at Bitcoin chart, I'm going to look at XRP chart, and then we might just pick another few charts, just have a look and see if we can try and predict when these particular coins may have a correction. But before we do that, let's like the video if you like this sort of technical analysis. Subscribe to the channel if you're new or you haven't subscribed yet, because I know that not everyone clicks that subscribe button, and click the notification bell if you want to be notified. So yeah, just having a look down there, we've got Cardano, V-Chains looking super bullish. Even Dash and EOS that had kind of been losing ground steadily are slightly in the green. So the altcoins are being dragged by the bullishness of Ethereum and Bitcoin as well. But in general, I think because Ethereum's so bullish, that's kind of maybe dragging the altcoins along. But yeah, it's very, very exciting to see, and I hope that 2021 is going to be that year for all of us crypto holders. And I do hope nobody was really shaken out heavily, because I am a solid believer that there has been some definite market manipulation going on throughout the crypto market, not just in any particular coin, just throughout the crypto market. I think they are such small market cap projects that it is very easy to manipulate them. You know, we'll never be able to prove that, but I think there's definitely been something going on. So what it has been is that if you did have cash piles and you've been sitting on the sidelines, it was a great time over Christmas and New Year to actually purchase some of these assets. You know, I think I bought into Dash at 100, and it went back down to 70s just before. So, you know, and I thought I was buying it at the bottom, you know, so because it was a laggard. But hey, you know, you just can never predict this market. It is so absolutely volatile and absolutely crazy and unpredictable. And I'm sure there was technical traders out there that were predicting a lot of this stuff, and well done to them if you you know, I guess got some of these local bottoms and got in. Anyway, we're going to go over to CoinTrader Pro and just have a look at the Bitcoin chart here, and have a look at this is the daily chart. So I've just mapped out as good a long-term trend line as possible, try to get the most touches as possible. And you can see that, I guess, down here in 2013 and then all the way up, and you know, you can see all the way along, it's kind of been in and around that line. Alts or bull market, bear market, you know, retest of the bull market, March lows well beyond it, and then it's been steadily kind of following this line all the way. So that's my trend line, that's what I've chosen. And so then what I did was I went along and I said, well, okay, first Bitcoin bull market was in December 13, and it went about 1,000% away from this trend line. Now, we wouldn't have been able to draw this trend line back then, obviously, because it didn't have the retracement, but we can see historically that when it went about 1,000% away from this trend line, it corrected, and then it followed that trend line. So it said that this is the trend that Bitcoin wants. This is the adoption and the growth rate of Bitcoin, and this is how far it's willing to leave that trend before it comes back to Earth, right? So it followed that trend all the way until March 2017. And that was when the next bull run started, or the bull market in cryptocurrency began. So in 2017, March 2017, we started to deviate, and I've put in a few other kind of markers here because there was this one down here where it corrected after reaching all-time highs, but not so much. It kind of left by about 50%, I think, and then corrected and then hit that line and then bounced off, right? Now, this one here is more interesting. So we left and we got about 170% away from the line, had a correction. And then the next kind of leg up, we were about 270% above the line, then had a correction. And then the rest of the way up was pretty much up, you know, a few little corrections, but 1,163% later from that long-term trend line, we correct, and then the bear market ensues. So we all know what's happened there. And then what does it do? It kind of finds that line, finds some support in that line, and crawls its way up. Tries to break away from that line, tries to retest these highs, and gets rejected. It gets rejected somewhere around that first retracement level after the bull market, right? So 187%. So we can see down here 170%, 270%, 187%. So somewhere in that, you know, 170 to 280 mark, there's some levels there that we're seeing where retracements occur. So the retracement occurs, kind of makes its way down. March comes and it overcorrects, unique event, and then gradually finds its way up and uses this line as resistance and then flips it into support. So resistance, resistance, flips it, support, 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 and keeps doing what it's always been doing, you know. So right here, I guess people were fearful, what's going to happen? This digital currency is going to the end. It's not so bad. Now we actually want it. Now it's cheap. We're going to buy into it, pops up, and then use this line as support again, you know. And it's amazing how the long-term trend in Bitcoin is fairly consistent with these pops, right? So where are we at now? We are a little bit over 175% away from this trend line. So if we look back here at our 170% and our 277%, we could fairly safely say that Bitcoin is due for some kind of major correction, as in, and by major correction, I mean, if we were to call that move there 35%, and if we were to call this move here, and I've got too much going on here, but if we call this move 35% as well. So I'll get rid of those. So we are due for what I believe is somewhere in the realm of 135% correction, somewhere between now and I guess 35.5K. We're due for correction, and if we draw it in there as a 35% correction, on the buzzer, somewhere below 22.5%. Now, I'm a firm believer that it is going to retest this level here. This 19,400 level, I believe that was a major hurdle for it breaking 20K, was this 19,400. So I think that it could potentially go as low as that. Some people are saying even lower. Some people are saying it's going to come back and touch the line. Some people are saying it's going to go to 10,000. I don't know about that. But I do believe that a 50% retracement in this particular instance, because it is so bullish and it's been so parabolic, that it could test that, and then obviously it's just going to bounce off whatever floor it finds as a support, and shoot on out of there, because we are in a bull market. So as far as a long-term holder of Bitcoin, don't be afraid. It's just possibly another buying opportunity, and for anyone that isn't in it, it's a time to buy. But what I do know is that tomorrow I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in the space of my Bitcoin mining stocks, because of the parabolic action for the last 4 or 5 days when they haven't been able to trade on the stock exchanges. Like, I think people are going to be uber keen to get into these particular stocks. Now, that's Bitcoin. So we can see that when it leaves that line by 1,000%, and I guess similarly, we can kind of maybe now put in a price prediction based on this departure. So if we say, we'll go out, we'll drag this out a year's time. We'll drag this out to the end of the year-ish, and we'll just put in a rough price prediction there of that 1,000% level, just to give us a rough idea of where it's definitely headed based on history. Now, that's absolutely mental. The idea that it could go up to 273,000, but that's what some people are calling for, this 300,000 mark. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but hey, the reality of it is that charts tell us something, and charts tell us that this particular coin, this particular project, this particular cryptocurrency has been following this trend for the long term. So therefore, if maybe we need to bring this back a bit. Maybe we need to bring this back to be equivalently distance in a date and time. So maybe we need to go, 200 days from there. All right. So we'll go 200 days from here, and we'll give it 1,000%. There we go. So yeah, now we're looking at somewhere more around the 190. 200 days. We'll give it a day. 200 days. Yeah. So yeah, roughly the end of that there. So if we move it over 200 days, so somewhere just shy of 200,000 per Bitcoin, based on history, based on retracements, based on where it wants to leave that line by, and and maybe if you say 1,074, 1,163, maybe we'll go 1-2. Just if we want to be super bullish about it and say, yeah, 220, 230 is a more realistic target for the next parabolic top at the end of the alt season. Now, that's Bitcoin. That's where we're at. If you're a Bitcoin holder, and you got in, especially back in March, that's some great gains. There's some great potential for gains. No guarantees, but in cryptocurrency, and I'm definitely not a financial advisor, so I would not be buying Bitcoin now based on the fact that it's going to move that in 6 to 12 months, because anything can happen. You never know what the news machine or the political machine can do to these particular projects to freak people out, right? Anyway, we're going to go over to XRP now, and we're going to have a look at the long-term chart for XRP. Now, it's not as a definite trend here for XRP, but we can use a line which I've found which has some relevance, as in it shows us a trend, that it shows from when it started trading that it left here, this line which I put in, which has a resistance level here, a support level here, a support level here in March, kind of a close touch there, and then more recently a return to this particular line in a back test of the last exit, right? So, and also we've got this from the last alt season, this downward trend following this as a resistance line, flipped this line, and now it's using this line for support. So there's a couple of intersections there that I've used. Now it's not a picture perfect line. I haven't got in there and done it super duper accurate, but for the purposes of this kind of rough analysis, we can see that early on XRP pumped about 1,000% above this line, and it retraced well below. It went up, it kind of wanted to recover some of those gains, it went well below, it used it as resistance, and then it went sideways, so it had a really dead patch, it had a really long bear patch, right? Which meant that it was a long way away from that line, so it had that that 1,000% to get back toward that line, and then use it for support a bit, ready to actually have, the next leg of that alt season, right? So then it left that particular trend line by about 1,192% or 1,100%. And then it had a little bit of a sideways action, a bit of a bearish kind of, or a volatility chain, and then extended again another 1,300% before correcting, right? So we know that in a single alt season, it goes about 1,000% away from that trend line. In a double alt season, it goes probably about 12,000% from the line, or two legs of 1,000 and 1,300%, right? So that's where we're at for XRP. So there's not as much data as Bitcoin to pull an exact, precise science, but we do know that, I guess potentially, because it is near this trend line now, that we've got at least a 1,200% move, let's say. If it follows history, if it does what we want it to do, which is behave in a normal fashion. Now we know that there is some particular news out there that is making it act a little bit irregular, but I don't think it is actually that far away from where it should be. Maybe it just overcorrected a little bit, but let's just say, come March, if we were to move 1,000%, that's towards our all-time high, and then if we do another leg up beyond that all-time high, we can see there that another leg up from the all-time high, we can see that if we do about 1,300%, we're up to a $48 range. So this is a very rough, inaccurate, non-precise kind of prediction, but nonetheless, it's showing us that what XRP has done is it's got a long-term trend. It departs from it, whether it be one alt season or two alt seasons, in a certain way, a long way away from the line, and then it bearishly trends down for a long time, 3 or 4 years, with the rest of the alt market. And now it's just shown us it's flipped its resistance, long-term resistance, into a support, and then now it's going to decide whether it keeps following this bearish trend, or it's going to use this as an intersection and then continue on this upward long-term trend. So there we are. I don't think we're due for a correction in XRP. We're definitely due for a bull run. It's just a matter of when. I do think that it will be one of the last ones to take off. So we've still got a little bit more time for accumulation if you so desire. But at some point around here, around this intersection, so maybe halfway through January, early February, when it decides, okay, I don't want to keep following this bearish trend, I want to start following this bullish trend, maybe that's where we start taking off, where we start doing our first 1,000% move, getting towards that, $2.90, $3 mark, which was my prediction in a few other of my videos, based on kind of the move since March and kind of doubling it. So I think that's where we're at. We're heading towards about $3. We might kind of go sideways, pull back a bit. Maybe we'll pull back and test this 70 cents again, and then shoot on out of there. And do that next 1,300% move or so. And these are rough because we don't know where the correction will be, right? So let's just kind of give it somewhere in the middle there, and just say that, if conservatively, if it did 1,300% from a consolidation period there, that we're looking at maybe $30 there. So I like that idea. I like the idea that this bull market will go for a year. We'll have these two alt seasons potentially, and potentially see XRP hit that $30 mark. But just realizing that long term, XRP wants to follow this line. So however far it leaves, it always wants to come back to this line. So realistically, in the long term, it's showed us that it's a weaker trend than Bitcoin, and that maybe, you know, into 2022, its potential bottom, you know, or its floor is, you know, 40 cents, and then, you know, 60 cents and 70 cents and $1, you know. So because it's highly speculative and highly volatile, this is what it's showing us, you know. But the beauty of it is that because it's so new, this is just the very beginning of it, right? In 10 years, this trend will change, you know, and we can see that it'll probably curve its way up, right? So don't be afraid if you're a holder long term. You'll see large volatility, large fluctuations in price, but it will always generally go up following this trend line. So XRP, once again, looking at it from a different angle, is not broken, and it is doing something along the lines of what it's meant to. And, you know, these are our new targets, you know, $3 on the next leg up. Make your choices whether you want to take profits there. If you're a bit worn out from it all, you can kind of exit there and do something else, or move into another project, or, you know, hold on tight and see if we can extend all the way out to that $30, which I would love to see. I think I would like to hold on to a fair bit of it to see something in that $30 range. And I do believe it's possible. You know, I believe that regardless of what's happened recently, volume is up, trading is up, people are into it. Some people aren't going to be interested at all in the news of the SEC and the American market, and it is such a small market in the cryptocurrency trading. You know, like there's people in countries all around the world that don't even speak English that are buying and selling this particular project, that will never even know this news in a month, even if they did search it out. I'm rambling now, so I'm going to leave it there. Let's go back to the altcoins. Everything's still green, everything's still moving. It's funny, this Theta and this Zilliqa, whatever things are bullish, they take their retracements, right? So what's that about? What is that about? Not sure. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting week, people. Get excited. Anyway, bye for now. I've been Jared from Crypto Plan, and if you have listened to the very end, you are the best of the best. And please like and subscribe the video, and click that notification bell if you so desire. Bye bye.